Hey guys, I'm Raj here. Welcome to TMQ channel. If you guys haven't subscribed to TMQ channel, I strongly suggest you to click on the subscribe button for more tech videos. Well, it's been a week since I've uploaded my iPhone 10 review video. So I was thinking, what should I review next? At the time of thinking, I was saying maybe I should do a review for a laptop. Yeah, that's a good thing to do, right? But what laptop should I do a review? Is it my MSI or my MacBook Pro? So after deciding, I came to a conclusion that maybe I should review MacBook Pro. So guys, today we are going to talk about the MacBook Pro. I've been using the MacBook Pro for the past 1 year, I would say. So the MacBook Pro has a lot of features, a lot of good things, and a lot of bad things. So I'll talk about the following section. So first of all, let's just a brief intro. Back in 2017, Apple unveiled the MacBook Pro. Comes in two models, I would say. One is the model with touch bar, and another one is without the touch bar. For me personally, the one I'm using right now is without the touch bar. So I didn't take the touch bar model because I felt that it won't be really useful for me, especially I'm not going to use it at all. The touch bar is just a fancy stuff, but it's nothing great in there, so I didn't use that. But then maybe in later stage I was thinking the touch bar would be useful maybe if I'm doing some Photoshop editing, some color grading, then probably I need to use the touch bar. It will be really great for you. So if you're a person who are looking to do some editing, some in Photoshops, then probably you can get the touch bar model. But nevertheless, the non-touch bar version is really good actually. Just to recap on the specs, the MacBook Pro features a 13.3 LED backlit display with IPS technology. It also has the 2.3 GHz of Intel iCore 5 processor, and it runs on 8 GB of RAM. Whereas for storage wise, there's two storages which you can choose. Well, one is the 120 GB SSD storage, and the other one is a 256 GB of SSD storage. So there's no HDD storage because HDD is pretty much slower compared to SSD. So that's the reason Apple moved the whole lineups to SSD base. Talking about the Mac, first of all, let's talk about the display. As I said, the display, it has a 13.3 inch of backlit display, and it has a screen resolution of 2560 by 1600 resolution. With the new display in the Mac, the display are much more sharper if you see. So the contents are very sharper, the colors are more vibrant and also accurate. So if you see previously the colors, if you see the color of blue or orange or yellow, maybe it's not really, I mean it's a blue color, but then you won't get the realistic color, so the accurate color. So now the color is very accurate. So but I'm sure they are comparing to latest, because the one is a 2017 model. If you compare with the 2020, the display, I think now they are using a Super Retina display. Well, this one is just a LCD display, still a LCD display, but then the colors are really good and it's very vibrant and it's a really accurate colors. Front, it has a FaceTime HD camera. Well, Apple didn't really upgrade the HD camera because they didn't feel people are going to use this most of the time. Mainly for FaceTime they're going to use it, so they just remain with 0.7 megapixel of FaceTime HD camera. The main reason I got a Mac is because it's very simple to use. So the simplicity, I would say, is the OS part, and so the design part is the overall design. Well, let's talk about the keyboard. For the keyboard wise, the reason I got a MacBook because I need to use my Mac to write articles most of the time. So most of the time when I write articles, all the articles are coming in from my Mac. So I need to type a lot. Most of the time I'll be typing keywords, a lot of words. At least I think one article I'll be typing like 1,000 words. So for that I need to use a MacBook Pro. And the keyboard Apple is using is something different comparing to other keyboards, which is a Windows based keyboard. They're totally different. The one app in Apple is the Apple Butterfly keyboard. So Butterfly means comfortability in a Windows based laptop. Since the keyboard, there's also a trackpad. Obviously a Mac without a trackpad is not a Mac, and the trackpad in this Mac is they're having you to use 4 fingers, because if you know, Apple is a laptop when it comes to scrolling and drag and drop, it's super simple. So Apple is always good for its simplicity. And now with your 2 fingers, you can use your 3 fingers, you can even use your 4 fingers to minimize a task and to maximize a task. and also to scroll, everything is very simple now. And for that they have an ample space where you can use your 4 fingers or 5 fingers into it. So that is something good. For the speaker wise, if you see the Mac, it already, the 13.3 inch, most of the spaces have been taken by the keyboard. So there's a very small space for Apple to put in the speaker. So what Apple did was to squeeze in the speaker to put on both sides, so you have a speaker and also right speaker. So with this, the sound quality is really good. So guys, now you have already covered the keyboard, the trackpad, and also the speakers. Next, let's cover about the battery life. So the MacBook Pro features a 4484 mAh battery, which according to Apple, it can last up to 10 hours in a single charge. But then it all depends on the usage, what type of usage you're using it for. So for example, if you're using it for just for generic purpose, such as for like typing using the words, or the pages, keynotes app, so that wouldn't take much of the battery. So if you're that type of person, then probably you can use the MacBook Pro for up to 10 hours. But then if you're a person like me, so I need to use it for my video editing, sometimes I need to use it for my coding. So for these type of purposes, then probably in a single charge you can last up to 7 or 8 hours maximum. And also 10 hours also is not something great, I would say, because you have to bring the power adapter along with you if you want to use it for a longer period of time. But then if you're just staying at home, in a single charge you can use it for 10 hours without any issues. If you see here, the charging port in the MacBook Pro, it has 2 ports. I would say these are the 2 USB ports, but in the Windows term, to make it more understandable, I would say this is the USB Type-C ports. So there's a 2 USB Type-C ports, but in a way for Apple to understand, they call it as Thunderbolt 3. So the design are almost same. So when you see the electronic design for the USB Type-C with the Thunderbolt 3, both are similar, but then the difference is for USB Type-C, you can use it for file transfer speed for up to 10 gigabits per second, whereas for when you're using a Thunderbolt 3, you can use it for file transfer speed up to 40 gigabits per second. So that's the only difference in the MacBook Pro. You have to know the good things of the MacBook Pro, right? So first of all, the good things about the MacBook Pro is the design. Obviously, the design is it has a very sleek design, and the thickness is just 15 mm thickness, and it's really light, I would say. Even though the weight is 1.4 kilogram, it doesn't feel that much heavier compared to other laptops. Comparing to my MSI laptop, this is very light. So that's one thing. When you hold it, there's a premium quality. You have the premium feel. So obviously with Apple, they always are very premium quality. So I'm sure you guys all already know, right? The other good things of the MacBook Pro is the performance. So when it comes to performance, I think in 2020 there are a lot of MacBook, the latest 2019 or 2020 MacBooks, the performance are really great, I would say. So I'm not talking about that, I'm just talking about the 2017 edition. So for 2021 edition, the performance is still good, still no issues, there's no any lagginess up until now. I don't feel any lagginess here. Even I use it for coding or video editing, there's no any. Maybe for video editing there is slight amount of lagginess because it uses it requires high CPU usage. So due to that, and also high graphical usage, so due to that, there's lagginess in it. But then overall, if you're just using for browsing, watching movies in your MacBook, then probably you won't have that type of issues. If you already know about the good things, you have to know about the bad things also, right? So first of all, the bad things, obviously, there's no USB ports. If you see, there's no USB Type B. So when I want to do some things, I need to use a USB Type B ports, because USB Type B is the normal USB 3.0 port, where most of the hard disk supports only that. So for this, right now I'm using the 120 GB model. It doesn't it's not sufficient for me, especially. So for video editing, I need something better. But then, so what I decided is to use external storage. So that in order to connect external storage, I had no choice. I had to buy a USB dongle. So then only I can have to connect it in order to transfer my files. And the next bad thing I would say is it doesn't have a SD card reader in both sides. So it doesn't have a SD card reader. Since there's no SD card reader, I had to use my MSI laptop in order to transfer my photos, photos or videos which I've recorded, and I have to transfer it to my MSI, and from my MSI I have to transfer it back to my portable hard disk, and from there I have to transfer to my Mac. See how much troublesome is this? So these are the two reasons I wouldn't really recommend a MacBook Pro if you are planning for this type of usage. But other than that, the MacBook Pro is a really great device. I would say it's really good. It's superb, I would say. Talking about the pricing, the MacBook Pro comes in two models, which is the 128GB and also the other one is a 256GB model. Well, the 128GB model is priced at 5,129 ringgit, whereas the 256GB model is priced at 5,929 ringgit. So overall, that's my review for the MacBook Pro. I believe I've already covered the good things and also the bad things in the MacBook Pro. So is it worth buying? It all depends on you. If you're a person like me, I would strongly say maybe you should get a better MacBook Pro or maybe the latest MacBook Pro. But if you're a person who just want to use for documentation purpose, just a general usage, then maybe you can get a MacBook Pro. It's really good, it's superb, no issues. So overall guys, that's the review video for today. I hope you guys like this video. Don't forget to subscribe to our TMQ channel, and also don't forget to give us a thumbs up for our video. Till then, I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.